journey. I am your host, Golda. The topic today will be co-counseling. I have the privilege to introduce my guest, Fred Wallace. Let me tell you a little about him. Fred has been active in Co-Counseling International for over 30 years. He's participated in over 25 international workshops and conferences in 6 countries. He facilitated many workshops at these conferences. Fred is a certified CCI teacher and has organized and taught over 50 co-counseling fundamental classes in the United States and abroad. In 1996, Dr. Wallace studied with John Heron, one of the founders of co-counseling, at his center in Tuscany, Italy. Fred has just finished writing a book on the power of co-counseling, which is going to be published in September. In 2007, he established the Co-Counseling House in New Haven, which serves southern New England, New York, and New Jersey. Welcome, Fred.
Thanks, Golda.
It's a pleasure having you on Journey.
Yes. Well, it's a pleasure to be able to talk about co-counseling. And it's sort of a little-known personal growth modality that's really around the world. It's in New Zealand and Australia and a lot of European countries, and here in the United States, in New England, really, basically, and California.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, co-counseling is a way for people to explore their own lives, to really explore their own lives on their own. There's 2 roles in co-counseling. And it's really important. It's like there's a person who does the work. They're called the self-counselor. And then there's the person who is there to witness their work and support them. And this is called the co-counselor. The self-counselor does the work. The co-counselor listens, pays attention. And by literally paying attention, they're validating the work the person is doing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people come into co-counseling for this role here, for the self-counselor role, because they have issues and problems in their lives, and they want to deal with them. They want to work with them. And one of the biggest issues, I think, in our society today is people don't have places they can be truly honest about their lives. They can't really share with people because they're afraid what people will think. They'll think they're weak. They think they're vulnerable. They think they're screwed up. And so people shut up. They don't talk about the real issues that are bother them, and they bother them. And so people hold them in and hold them down. And so they come into co-counseling or they go to see a therapist, maybe, but in co-counseling they come in here and they find you're self-responsible. You are in charge of the work you do. No one tells you what to do. And you start working on the problems. You start examining them, and as you examine them, you start going deeper and deeper and deeper into your own life. So it's an amazing process because most people don't look at their own lives. They don't have a relationship with themselves. So that's really why people come in and they do this work. And there's ways that we look at the world in co-counseling. It's a very simple sort of psychological way that as children, as we know, we learn so much of how we are as adults. We learn the patterns. We call them patterns that stay with us. Our brain develops neural networks as we're children, which stay with us and impact our lives as adults.
So we have many things that we do as adults that really come from our childhood.
Yep.
And we're still repeating them and repeating them and repeating them.
And they may serve you 80% of the time. But that 20% of the time is where they get in trouble. And that's what people start. If they come in, they're working on the immediate problem, and they realize that problem, there's something in them which so they keep repeating the problem. And so they have to start looking backwards. We talk about scanning back into your past and regression work, and to find where's the pattern and where did it start? Where did I first start being scared to meet new people? Or where did it start that I just don't want to deal with authority? Where did all those things, and so we go back into our childhood.
Yeah.
So, in co-counseling also, We live in a society where it's not okay to be angry, where it's not okay to be sad, it's not okay to say, I'm scared. And yet they're all human qualities. This like makes us what's human.
We all feel them.
Everyone feels them, and yet we hold them down because there's no appropriate place to let them go. In co-counseling we say, emotions are our friends. They're there to serve us, to let us know what's going on. And we aren't afraid to express them. We aren't afraid to cry. Men crying, right? Well, I talk about against the stereotype. Or women being angry, like really being angry.
Oh, I was never allowed to be angry.
I know. I wasn't either, actually, but I'm a guy, But, it's strange that, people come into co-counseling because of this, because something drives them, saying there's something not right with my life. And they come in and they start exploring, and pretty soon they find there's so much more about their lives. And that's why we build a relationship with ourselves. And that's it's critical. We have to start loving ourselves. We need to start accepting ourselves with our faults, and that's what happens here.
You mean I have to not listen to that negative voice in my head all the time?
Well, yeah, you can listen to it and say, thank you very much, I'm not paying attention, because it don't necessarily go away. But we can start learning that that's what it is. And I like one co-counselor, Lillian, says there are default settings put in us when we're kids, just like in our computers. So we say something and the voice goes, no, 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 no. You go, yes, 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 yes. We learn those things. We learn other things too. I mean, there's again, it's a very simple modality. Two people, and then halfway through the session, they switch roles.
I was
so
wondering.
the person who was the co-counselor now becomes the self-counselor. And there's an amazing thing that happens when that happens, because here I am, I'm the self-counselor, and I've just told you all my problems. I've spoken, maybe I've cried, maybe I've been angry, it's like, and now you go over here and you're the co-counselor, and this person here who listened to all of your problems now totally trusts that you'll be there for them. So the sense of trust that builds up between people is simply remarkable in co-counseling. It's like, there's a wonderfulness about the trust. I trust this person. Everything I say here is confidential. So it's like this person, it's totally confidential. You can't talk to anyone about what you hear. You can't even bring it back to this person. What I say here, I'm totally safe to say. So I feel safety in my life. And before, when I said about people don't have anyone to talk to, the reason I don't talk to them is because I don't feel safe. They feel it's going to come back and haunt them, that if I say I hate my boss, it's going to work itself around till my boss hears about it, then I'm in trouble.
So the co-counselor takes an oath almost, that anything that's said in a co-counseling session is private between you and the other person.
Absolutely.
And nothing is said afterwards.
Right. There's a Scottish poet who has a wonderful poem that has the line about being in a jury. And she said, the only thing similar to this, to swearing the confidentiality in a jury is what you do in co-counseling. You're never supposed to mention this the rest of your life. Well, that's the way we operate, because that's where the safety comes in. That's where and the thing is, I have to trust you.
That's right.
I have to trust you. So I can't, if I don't trust you, there's no safety. Trust and safety go together. And in co-counseling, we build that. So it's really, again, it's all very simple. There's nothing fancy about co-counseling. It's about two human beings who trust each other, who can speak their truth and not be afraid of getting hurt. So it's amazing. People come in and, at first they're very skeptical. They talk about surface things, and I can watch them. They don't really get down to deeper things. But after like a month or 2 months, all of a sudden they start talking about things which really hurt. They talk about their relationship with their parents, about their siblings, about their relationship with their partners. All of a sudden it's like drop. One day it's like all of a sudden they get it. That what I say here is okay.
They like blossom.
Yeah.
They open up.
So
it must take a while, though. It must take a while to create that trust.
It does. It absolutely does. It's just, people just can't come in and drop into this. It's like we spent our whole life not trusting.
Yeah.
So you walk in the door, it's like, I can't give up the rest of my life today, But if I practice it and keep doing this, it's like riding a bicycle. It takes practice and takes practice, and all of a sudden I ride the bicycle, and then I'm riding the bicycle not using my hands. That's what you build the trust. And in co-counseling, we talk about creating sacred space. This here becomes sacred space.
Yes.
Where we enter it, and when we enter it knowing it's about confidentiality. We know that I'm looking at this person as good to the core. As good to the core. No matter what they say or do, I'm seeing them as good. So those are some of the basics. I mean, there's some wonderful things we do. One of them is called validations.
Tell me about validation.
Validations. I want you to practice this right now so everybody can see what it is.
Okay.
Right? A validation is simply your name and a positive quality. Your name and a positive quality. So like, I'm Fred and I'm clear. I'm Fred and I'm bright. It took me a long time to say I'm Fred and I'm handsome. But after several years, many years, I can say that. So try validating. Say your name and positive quality.
Wow. Isn't that like bragging?
Well, that's the problem with our societies. We can't say good things about ourselves. It's the teacher who has to put the gold star on the paper. We can't do it ourselves because that's what we were told we're kids. But you know something? Who better than you to know your qualities? Who better than you to start saying them out loud just so that you can hear them? And there's a whole thing about speaking out loud, which I could talk about later about. But go ahead, try.
Okay, let's see if I can do it. I'm Golda and I'm lovable.
That's a good one.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. I'm Fred and I'm creative. I'm creative.
I'm Golda and I'm clever. I'm clever. Yeah.
Well, I'm Fred and I'm playful.
Ah. And I'm Golda and I'm stuck. I'm Golda and I'm intelligent.
Well, see, when people first start doing validations, they have a hard time because it's so contrary to how they were raised.
Yeah.
And I've watched doctors, lawyers stumble after 2 or 3. We can give ourselves 2 or 3 or 4 pretty readily. When you get down to 5 or 6 or 7, and in the fundamentals training, I think it's 8 sheets of paper with 1,200 positive adjectives, which is great fun to play with.
Yeah.
So I'm Fred and I'm zesty. Now, I never would have thought of myself as zesty.
And I'm Golda and I'm adorable.
See, that's the fun. And then it brings joy to ourselves to speak out loud that which we love about ourselves, but we've been scared to do it.
Can you almost say something that you want to be?
Yep.
Like you're not quite there, but you'd really like to think of yourself that way?
Yep. And the thing is, what we do is we practice those. We say them over and over again. And what it does is, again, remember the brain is this, we're finding more and more, this plastic, it can grow. And so when you speak, let's just talk about this for a second, because that's what people do. They speak out loud at co-counseling. Because we think about things all the time, right? When we speak out loud, 2 things happen. One is the voice goes out and comes back through our ears, and our brain knows it's our voice. But the information comes in as new information into the neocortex. So literally, when you say, I'm Golda and I'm adorable, your brain is going, I'm Golda and I'm adorable. But the other thing that's happening is that as you're speaking, it sets up a vibration inside your throat, which goes literally to your ears and into your brain. So your brain gets stimulated in a different way. So it's more open to the ideas that you're talking about. It's like, I've done a lot of research in writing my book. And one of the things I was amazed at is something called rubber ducking.
Rubber ducking.
Which is a computer term when people do programming. If they can't solve the problem, they talk out loud to this little yellow rubber duck, which they put up there. And speaking out loud forces you to conceptualize, to put your thoughts into sentences, to construct it. And when you start doing that, you can start seeing your own thoughts far better than when they just run around in your head. So that's what we do in co-counseling. You know, it's like I've had this problem with someone, and I just think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it. But now I say out loud, I have a problem with my friend that's like this and this. I go, oh yeah, that's right, that's what it is. Let me look at that. And then the other thing we really practice in co-counseling, which people have a hard time doing, what's my part of the problem? What's my part? Because it isn't just a problem with that person out there. I'm responsible for myself. Co-counseling talks about, that's a whole nother half an hour or so, about self-responsibility. Because we're responsible for our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. I can't blame you for what goes on in me.
Right.
That changes your whole relationship to the world when you really accept that and start practicing it.
It sounds to me also like you're encouraging us to talk to ourselves, talk out loud to ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reality is, the person over here, the co-counselor over here, is a wonderful person, and they're giving you what we call caring, aware attention. They're witnessing your work. They're validating your work. But they aren't listening to your words. It's your work. And so you have to listen to yourself.
They don't have the answers. You do.
Right. Well, one of the key beliefs in co-counseling is you have all your own answers inside yourself.
Right.
It's like you can go to the wisest people, you can read the greatest books, but you apply them to yourselves. You make it work.
Yeah.
So, and you know what works for you. You know, if you're going to study some subject, like flower arranging, you go and learn about flower arranging. But if you're going to study about yourself, where do you go to find out? You go into here, because this has all the information. It's not out there anywhere. So when you're sitting here, your resources are here. They aren't out there. They don't rest with a therapist. They don't rest with a plant manager. They rest with you. So
I would think that that's pretty tough to do, that it does take a lot of I want to heal, or I want to find out the reason, and then to think I'm part of the problem is like against any yeah.
I mean, we're part of every issue in the world.
Yeah.
Because it's us.
But I deny that.
Sure, it's like they did it, and they did it, and they did
right,
it. That's
yeah.
not the way it is. It's like we operate from inside.
Yeah.
And so that you can say something, and I can say, oh, she made me mad. And I can, no. She said something which I reacted to in a way that's being described as mad.
You know what just hit me? You have a choice.
Yep.
You have a choice.
Yeah. And that's what you start learning. You start
Yeah.
learning. One of my favorite, we have things called word replacements exercises, which are fun. And so a lot of people say, well, I have to do that. I have to take the garbage out. Well, we say, when we hear the word have to, we say, try saying choose to. I choose to take the garbage out. All of a sudden, it's your choice. Instead of I have to. Who's making you?
That's that word should
Right.
that I don't like
Right.
also. Yeah.
So we don't, we bring everything back to you're responsible for who you are.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the world really is. I mean, let me tell you, if you do something, the cops, excuse me, catch you. Oh dear, I have a wonderful cough. Let me take it straight. They don't say, who caused you to do this?
Right.
They say, you did it.
You did it, right.
You did it. And that's the way we do it. We look at it. We're responsible. So let me do it. We have just a little bit more time, I think, probably. We do this other exercise because part of our society is so negative. So we do something called new and goods.
Aha.
New and goods are very simple. You say, I'm Fred, my new and good is, you want it in the present tense, my new and good is sitting here with you being interviewed. I'm Fred, my new and good is the beautiful weather outside. So part of what we don't do in our world is we don't appreciate the little things that make up our day. You know, my friend Michael says this wonderful thing. He says, I went out one day and the tire in my car was flat. And I was pissed at the tire and I was like, brr. Then he said, I thought, wait a second. I never came out here and was nice to my tire, sort of speaking. So I was like, it served me for 40,000 miles, but I never said, I'm Michael and I have a good tire. Only when things go bad. So we're focused on the negative. So in co-counseling, we say, I'm Fred, and my new and good is my tires are all inflated in my car.
And he could say, I'm Michael, and I'm lucky that tire didn't blow when I was driving.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, again, it's part of the whole, there's a whole positive element to co-counseling, which is very, very strong. And it's like, it's too sort of complex to try to reach in 22 minutes. But in some ways, we build our capacity to love in co-counseling.
Yes.
We build our capacity because we learn to accept ourselves. We learn to accept others as not reflections of us, but who they are. So we really learn to give of ourselves to others in an open way. So as we learn to give of ourselves, we start to build our capacity to love, because love is about giving.
And also, from that, I think we start to love ourselves more. And from learning to trust somebody else, also learning to trust ourselves more.
Yep. And that's the reality.
Yeah.
And so that's why having the two roles, sitting in the two roles, is so critical. And that's what doesn't happen when you go to any place else. You go to see a therapist, you go to see a doctor, you go to see whoever.
Doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. You don't switch roles.
Yeah.
And so switching the roles allows you to see a complete vision of yourself and the other person.
So that's a very important point in co-counseling, is that you are both roles, the
Yep.
listener and the person, the client, or whatever you want to call them.
The self-counselor.
Yeah, the self-counselor.
Well, you know, the other thing is, we say right from the beginning of the fundamentals that we're peer. We're peer in our humanity. We all, in some ways, are remarkably the same. I mean, gene-wise, we're 99-point-something% the same. So, I mean, but on the other level, we're born, parents raise us doing the best job they can. You know, we have relationships, we have work, we try to survive, and we die. You know, we're remarkably the same. So we say we're peer in our humanity, not in our exterior existence,
Right.
but in our basic humanity, with our hearts, with our guts, with the ability to love, with the ability to be open to other people. So those are the types of things which, like, infuse co-counseling with the way that it grows inside people. You know, it's so. I always have to say, Golda, that I think of it. It's like incredibly simple. It's like two people being honest with each other, and really being open to the fact that we're good, we're human,
We're good.
and you know, it's like so much of our life isn't that way. We don't allow that to happen. We don't allow ourselves to get mad and say, all right, and then once you let mad, you let it go. It's like an infant. An infant gets mad, and then the next second,
He's fine.
he's fine.
Yeah.
Sad, same thing.
Yeah.
He gets feared, same thing. But we don't do it because we're not supposed to, so we hold on to
down,
it.
we
and we
push
hold
it
on.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
So-
push it in. We push it in.
So, amen. I think this is a good conversation, and you know, I could talk for a long time. And when I teach a fundamentals class, it's like 40 hours. It's supposed to be. We've got it down to about 25 now, but you need a lot of time to learn the details.
Yeah, yeah. And you need to practice it.
And it's a practice, just like any other practice.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, I've really enjoyed hearing about co-counseling. I might join up.
I would love it.
And if anybody else would be interested in finding out more about co-counseling, you can go to Fred's website, or his his email address, earthfred@aol.com.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
thank you again.
Thank you, Golda. It's
And,
really a pleasure. And may you continue to validate yourself.
I'm going to practice.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.